That's another Jedi mind trick. You don't need to see the code. You don't need to
Yeah. Don't
no,
worry about
revenue?
it.
Nope. Code?
No.
Nope. Let me just show you the bill. Let me just show you. Look at what we ate.
Which AI made. I don't know what to believe. I really don't. And I don't know how that became like a measurement of ego, of success, of investable opportunity. I just don't see it. Like, why share that? To me, that would be such an oh fuck moment. That would be like, yo, nobody's eating this month. The agent ate your paycheck. So I
dude, can we name a climb after that? That's a great name for a rock climb. If I could get a first ascent, the agent ate your paycheck. I kind of want that would be a sick name for a rock climb.
That's the name of this episode. The agent ate your paycheck.
But agent ate your paycheck.
Concerning. It truly is alarming. It doesn't feel human. It doesn't feel responsible. It doesn't even feel like there's mission behind that. Like, what's the fucking point? What is the point? How many jobs did you create with that? Like, it just doesn't make sense. How much money were you able to donate to charity with that? Like, how many mouths were you able to feed? How many milestones were you able to achieve? None. The agent ate your paycheck, and nobody even got rich from it. Like, it doesn't even fucking matter. Yo.
What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Happy Monday.
Monday, brother. Monday. A little sad. It's my first recording since my grandmother passed away on Friday. But may her memory be a blessing, and I now have a playbook and a blueprint for life. So forward to extraordinary.
Absolutely, man.
What do you got for me today?
Man. Well, dude, I think that I got a great topic because, listen, we've seen the posts. I saw one this weekend. It like lit me up where I was like, what is going on with the world? The gist of the post is we just spent $60,000 on tokens. Yeah! We're going to be the first. We're going to be the smallest company to make $1 billion ever. And that was just one. That's not the other person who's like, this engineer just spent $10,000 in a day. And I'm thinking to myself,
on what?
Not even just on what? Like, when do we celebrate just spending money? Like, when do we talk value businesses based on their expenses? It's sort of like going to the casino and being like, I just lost a freaking $10,000.
Yeah.
Full stop. Right. Without talking about like, and what did you get for that? Did you produce, right? Like, if you were to invest in a business, you would say, okay, that's your expenses. Now tell me about your revenue. And we'll then figure out your profit and try to come up with an idea of how much the business is worth. No, we've gone entirely bananas. It's like measuring lines of code. Or when companies used to say, we have 1,000 employees. Okay. Like, we don't, like, yes, maybe as like a very blunt force tool, you can say lines of code or size of the company based on number of employees, but it's completely irrelevant when we try to measure the actual value of a business. And the world has gone bananas for tokens, dude. The world is literally like just completely lighting money on fire. And I'm not sure, the post never ends with the punchline, which is, I spent $10,000 on tokens, released a feature that sold $1 million worth of revenue overnight or in 2 days. No, it's never that.
Nope.
It's just, even the president of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, was like, every engineer making 500 grand should be spending 250 grand on tokens.
On what?
What?
Like, I
well,
get
the guy who sells the thing that makes the tokens, of course, he's psyched on that.
There is a force multiplier equation here. Like, you have to just finish what the sentence was. Like, great, I have an engineer that burns $60,000 in tokens, or we as a group burn $60,000 on using AI to help us get to X. But what is X? Like, I want to know. Like, I'm dumbfounded by this, because the opposite version of this that we see, and I applaud the shit out of this version, is I built an app in a weekend, and it's making $250,000 after its first 3 months in business. That, I'm like, I wish I could figure that out, brother, sister. That's the other side of this, which is like, yo, I hope somebody has a great and brilliant idea. I hope your marketing works. And I hope that you are burning as little as you possibly can to make as much impact, revenue, job opportunities, whatever, as fast as possible. That is always the goal of entrepreneurship and business in general. But the ones that are out here just King Kong beating our chest, I can't figure it out. I never could have figured that out. I can never figure out businesses that put these little measurements of progress in front of the one that matters, which is revenue. The only thing that matters in business is revenue. And so I'm not really sure like where you even got the money, $60,000 last month to burn on this, and you don't have an investor that's beside themselves. Like what is wrong with capital injection these days? I can't figure it out. What are you producing with that money?
I think we said that. I was like, if I had ever spent $10,000 in tokens in a day, I'd have a heart attack, unless there was like an incredible unicorn feature that was released on the back of those tokens that produced real revenue that was growing over time. Then all I'm doing is spending more money to get to nowhere.
Sounds like debt.
Sounds like debt.
And that's money debt.
And this is where when people go, AI is not a bubble, I'm like, no, AI is not a bubble. Like AI is not a bubble, but AI can create a bubble if we continue to just value the idea that spending money on tokens is somehow congruent or the equivalent of having a healthy company. And you even talked about even revenue. Revenue, you can still have $1 million in revenue and spend $2 million earning it.
Totally.
Which is,
of course,
still a hobby, folks. Hate to tell you. It's still a hobby, folks. The company must make money at some point. Again, people are going to go, well, look at the Amazons of the world. That's not you. That's not you.
And let's also just say this piece as well. I love that somebody has the goal of creating $1 billion business. When you have $1 billion business, your ability for impact is exponential. But are you $1 billion revenue profitable business? Or are you a $1 billion valued business? Or are you a pipe dream business where you just like want to one day be a unicorn and that's just part of your marketing rhetoric and it's really just a facade? Like
that's what, yeah.
In that game, the individual that is on the path to creating a unicorn, the money is really not what is relevant. It is the impact, it is the reach, it is the value of existing, it's the relationships that you create, it's the motivation that you build, it's the ecosystem of opportunity around your product that exists. Dude, you've worked for unicorns before. That started from zero, started from somebody's kitchen and a server under the desk. The mission is not about let's see how much money we can spend. Let's see how little people we can do this with. What happened to the age of the best code is the least amount of code to solve the problem? What happened to that?
No, we don't do that anymore. It's as much tokens as we could. No, I had a lot of thoughts around this. First of all, you're right. I've worked for a unicorn before. I'm still waiting to extract cash to better my life from that unicorn.
They don't make $1 billion.
That's based on a private valuation of a fundraise.
That's right.
That billion may go to absolute zero.
That's right.
It could IPO and end up on the public market and end up below. But until it's sold, and I'll give the people kind of on the ground, like your grassroots example of this. You ever have a friend who said, my house is worth $1 million? And you're like, no, your house is worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it.
That's true, right?
Until the house is sold, that valuation is nonsense. Like right now, people think that their house is worth a certain amount. There are so many more sellers of homes than there are buyers of homes based on the economics right now that there's a pretty good chance your house is going to sit with $1 million valuation in an illiquid state, which is not good for anybody. So the reality is you have companies that are kind of like touting a valuation based on, and man, if VCs are falling for this and saying, oh, show me how much money you're spending in tokens, I'll give you $1 billion valuation. Now we're really in banana land. Now we've really gone cuckoo bananas, because you're going to give people the idea that they have $1 billion company because you've been fleeced into thinking that more tokens, more code equals more value. And it just does not. It could, but it does not in a very real sense. I even go back to the old, like Warren Buffett. I think he's the one who even says that EBITDA is a bullshit metric. Like he just wants, it's really even simpler than that. revenue minus expenses equals how much money your company is making. He doesn't want to hear any of these fancy things. And I've gotten very much on board with that over the years, and really through running this company, that I'm like, listen, like, business is not easy, but it should be simple. And the more easy you make getting like capital into the business through non-simple computations, the weirder things start to get in the economics, in the way you think, in the marketing material. It all starts to get very, very odd. And then I think you brought in an amazing point, which was the post that I followed up with this, is what about our why as entrepreneurs, as humans? And I've gotten very, very into like, what does it mean to be a human over the past like month or so, reading more about our humanity, the classics, philosophy, because this AI thing has created this very weird kind of feeling in my work day to day and what I'm doing in the building of a company. And I realize that as entrepreneurs, I come back to Yvon Chouinard's book, Let My People Go Surfing. It's always been kind of a North Star for us.
Mm-hmm.
But we have, and Derek Sivers talks about this in his book, you have this opportunity to create your own little utopia. And is that utopia just you and a couple of people getting super, super rich on the backs of these machines? Or are you trying to provide something more? And one of the most rewarding aspects of managing people and then of running a company has been being able to provide opportunities and livelihood to my employees. Not just the service I provide to the customers, but I can build this thing and that becomes a place where people grow their careers, where people provide for their families. And I take that very seriously, and you take that very seriously. And sometimes I don't want to say that doesn't leave us with tough choices. It doesn't mean I've never had to go through a layoff or never had to let somebody go. Definitely have to make hard choices. But when I do, I hope that I can still offer that person, hey, I can make a recommendation. And a lot of times the people who we've let go have landed in a better place, ended up making more money than they were with us, and did better than they did before, or they come back. And so I think about this idea of I am here to provide in a large portion for my employees, who then hopefully service my customers and provide more value to them. And I find a great amount of satisfaction in that why. But if my why turns into how do I build the smallest company possible with the most tokens? How do I just build a company of all AI agents? That for me, it becomes really hollow, really vapid. Really, I don't understand what I'm doing here anymore. And I think we have choices. You know, there's an employee that could live on 10 grand a month, make 120 grand a year, and just be so happy. They're a human, a real person. And you spent 10 grand in a day on a machine, possibly producing something that didn't get anywhere.
Troubling. It is a little troubling.
Not the $200 a month Claude Max plan for most humans goes freaking far. I have yet to exceed it, and I build a lot of projects. You know, if you want to say like, you know, revenue wise, responsible for between 800 and $1 million a year with that plan as one person. You know, that you can, you know, like you don't need to be spending that much. You can service a lot. So I think a lot about that really, in some real sense, we're like burning what could be used to provide for a human. And that human might actually have like new insights and get to collaborate with other humans and provide even more insights to actually build features with less code that might produce real revenue. And there are companies that are believing in this. You posted one. I'm talking to someone who's hiring this week, which was Zoe Computer, but they're in person.
Right.
They want people to come to the office in person. I believe Gumroad is also on this road where it was formerly remote. There is something that happens when humans collaborate. And I see it happening in the subconscious. I see more job postings, and they're good. The salaries are good. They want you to use AI. Yes, but they want real humans coming together in person to collaborate, because they recognize that these great ideas, these new applications, are going to come from people directing these agents, and I'm super excited for where that leads us.
Well, I think we're still in the age of the human is the consumer still. The AI is not the consumer, it's the creator. The ideas are coming from humans. You have the slave labor force, which is your AI agent or agents. But the consumer is still human. And so I don't see that piece changing for quite some time. I find it very interesting that, you know, there are businesses out there, but it really isn't about the business, it's about the leader. And so somebody woke up with a chip on their shoulder and said, I just want to make an all agentic business. I don't care about people. That's what that sounds like to me. I for years, you and I went the other way. I put people first to the point where, like, I didn't take any money out of my damn business. They ate first. I watched them have babies. I watched them have marriages. I watched them go through the milestones of life. That's what this is all about to me. That's the point. I want the biggest company that I possibly can make in the most responsible, long-standing way, because I want people in 10, 20 years from now say I did the best work of my life working at Cause of a Kind. I worked on the most exceptional projects. Now, I also just can't wrap my head around, like, the numbers here. I just can't.
I know, I can't see how you get there.
Big projects. Like, I've built some big fucking projects in this time that we've been here. I just don't see it. I just do not see this level of token consumption unless you're just telling Claude, like, yo, build the known universe of features. Like,
that, well,
this is it, man. I'm like, the math is not mathy for me. I don't get it.
I have to imagine it's like Ralph Loop's running 24 hours a day. These people are on their phones directing these agents 100% of the time.
Well, it's agents.
Probably.
Agents.
They can't possibly be checking. Like, you can't even be QAing the features at that point. Like, you can't.
No
you
way.
Really can't be. You have
That's
to just
a show
be
for another day.
Yeah, you have to be just churning and like. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, did you just make yourself like a Claude Code girlfriend, and like that's who you're chatting with all day? Like, is there like other things going on in the background that are churning through tokens? Because I just can't. Again, I mean, I definitely go through, like, you know, a very healthy amount of tokens, hundreds of thousands of tokens if I'm looking at like the thing, but it's still not exceeding, like I said, not exceeding the max plan. I just heard from someone else today that they said they're not exceeding the Codex $20 a month plan. They're churning out an amazing product, one of the best libraries I've used. I'm like, what you're producing is great, and it's not using all those tokens. I don't know. I just think it's very, very weird that we're not getting the other side. What I am seeing though is like 4 nines of availability uptime out the window. GitHub doesn't have, Amazon doesn't have, none of these companies, all of these companies are chipping away at their uptime. So they're shipping a ton more bugs. That's like it shows there's way more outages than there ever were in the last few years. I feel like it feels like there's another outage. Feels like there's a lot more security issues showing up too.
Dude, you talk about this show. YouTube had like 3 super problems in the last week.
I know, I heard about this.
I've been shipping for years, have had no problems. And now last week, all of a sudden, like in critical function, in like uploading your video, like critical function, you have a bug? What was that? Where's that from?
And I ask you, what new feature has YouTube released that made a marked difference in your life in the last 6 months? You still upload the videos?
Shorts coming out was like the biggest innovation that we felt. That was
right.
That was it.
Shorts.
Maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that came out. You know,
that's what I'm saying.
For me to unlock features, I had to get to a milestone that's always been available. That made a freaking difference. Getting to 100,000 subscribers unlocked a significant new portion of function that comes from the platform. And then I couldn't take advantage of it because I wasn't able to upload the simplest function that is the day one function of the platform.
The one thing I need to be able to do always.
Yes, someone botched. Yeah, I hear you. I get it.
I'm seeing it, and again, I'm a proponent. I'm using AI as we speak. I have agents working. They're not. I don't even know. I don't even know what because I can't. I'd have to let it do all my thinking. Maybe I just like I just don't know. I can't really kind of wrap my mind around what that would take. It would have to be like around the clock churning, building businesses over and over and over again, and hoping I get lucky. Like I guess maybe every idea we ever come up with, like on the toilet, I could just like throw in and just say like, do not stop until it's done. And then like QA yourself and run through it. And then I don't know. But I think I want to get back to that idea of, I ask everybody, Tell me one new thing in your favorite platform that has come out as a result of spending that much money that is now making that platform some kind of a revenue that you paid for. Because I'm very concerned about that. That's not a this is how you like you said, you end up with 100 people, you hire all these people and then you're like, by the way, we have to lay everybody off because we were irresponsible. And that's been the theme of the whole year, I feel like, for software engineering.
I have 2 open invitations. I have 5 different shows you could fucking choose from. I got 2 open invitations. Somebody, please, with these 2 characteristics, please join us because I just have questions. The first is, find me a venture capitalist. I want to speak to a venture capitalist that sees those types of chest-beating scenarios as golden opportunities. I just need to understand how your brain works, because it could be that I am just being left behind and that the industry is changing and that the signals for what could be success have changed. So please, open invitation. I would love to speak to VCs, multiple of them that are all super bullish in the age of AI and how companies are being built and what are the metrics that you are all looking towards that label or signal this could be a successful business. So that's number 1. Number 2, for the love of God, would a CTO please join Mike on CTO Confidential, who is spending $60,000 a month in token consumption? I just want to learn. I'm clearly missing something. I just don't fucking
Yeah, I want to talk about what you built.
We run a multi-million-dollar business and build large enterprise scale products with single individuals in 8-hour days. I just don't see it. So I either call bullshit or someone please step out of the dark and join the show because we have questions. No hate. You'll end up with an amazing episode, and I would love to learn something, because if there is a better way that I should be running this shop, one that gives me more time back so I can freaking spend it with my family and my friends, I got to learn from you.
Well, I promise I won't ask you if you made any money either.
Yeah, right.
I won't even ask about the revenue. But I remember there was, Mark Liu has this product, right? That was SaaS companies, those people, to like verify that you're actually making the MRR you're talking about on Twitter. Yeah. I kind of want like the reverse. Can you show me that your expenses are actually this high? As crazy as that sounds, like, let me see your expenses. Are your expenses high enough? But it almost leads me to believe that the machines are going to cost more than the people, right? Again, unless there's that value component on the other end, at some point you're like, well, maybe we'll just go back to handwriting code because we're not getting to value any faster. This is a very, very
ironic. He's very, very classic. And we've done this for years. Very, very classic. For the founders or the founding team, they all have equity to take home $0. Are you all giving all of this money? Because it's real money. You're giving real money to the agent platform. So are you taking money home for yourself to cover your own basic expenses? And on top of that, you're giving a massive salary to the agent? Or are you guys taking no money home and all that money you could be taking home by selecting specifically valuable features to ship, ones that map to revenue and secure your success? Are you just giving that away $60,000 at a time to the agent machine? Like, what am I missing, bro?
Yeah, or did this happen once? It might be. Yeah, I just can't see I can't see, like, imagine if you had 100 engineers and every single one of them basically started costing you another 120 a year. Or no, this was like was it 10 grand a day? Was the story?
Dude, this is not 100 engineers. This was 10 engineers, and I don't even think it's 10 engineers. It's a team of 10. You got to think somebody's trying to sell it. Somebody's trying to market it.
Well, that was that post, right? That was 60 grand in a month. Someone was talking about 10 grand a day for one engineer. And I was like, guys, that's like heart attack level numbers. I mean, you got to be, again, this is the thing that worries me though. It's not the AI itself. The AI itself is an incredible tool. It's us abusing the AI in our practice of business, in our pursuit of, it's almost like a Gordon Gekkoian pursuit of greed.
Absolute greed.
I don't know. And listen,
or
I'm as big
gluttony.
a capitalist as the next person, but I do think that you have to, at its core, capitalism requires that you are producing value that is greater than the resources you're extracting to produce it. If you can't do it that way, then it's not really,
It's
it's a
not
hobby,
sustainable at
man.
all. It's not sustainable. And yeah, listen, like I've never claimed to know anything other than what my little world is doing. And so in my little world, these equations just like don't math for me. And so in line with the mission and vision of Strictly from Nowhere, which is to uncover wisdom and share it with all of you, I just want to learn. I would love the team of the post that we are talking about to join the show and show me what I don't know. That would be really cool. And like totally
Any
you're welcome.
person
I've
that
no
wants
hate.
to do this, yeah, this would be fun.
I just
I
want to
think that
learn.
it's always remember, people, simple and easy. I always say there are things that are easy but not simple. And if you get away from simple in pursuit of the easy money, the easy talking point, I become very suspicious, because I think that businesses should be, when the numbers make sense, it requires no Jedi mind tricks.
Right.
You
Totally
don't
true.
need to see revenue. These are not that revenue. You don't need to see that. There's no. It requires no Jedi mind tricks. It appears the books. You look at the books and they make sense.
I agree. Well, dude, it's a really interesting topic, and it won't be the last time that we talk about this. And I think lots
Definitely
of
not.
companies are out here literally scratching their head. There are operators out here that are being like, am I missing it? Do I need to have this available cached? Do I need to push my teams to produce this much?
Well,
what would they even work on? You're one of us. I have no idea. I have no idea.
This is, engineers are feeling this too on my side. They're like, oh my God, how do I keep up with this person? They're churning out so much. And I'm just like, again, I don't buy it. I'm just not buying it.
Let me just ask you one other question. This could be something fun to just try and figure out how to do. You would think 60 grand a month in token consumption. To me, that feels like billions of lines of code. Where is the repo for this? Like,
right,
I
don't
would like
know.
to see the code base for that much, because you're talking one month. You talk about 12 months or 24 months at that rate of burn. You are talking billions of lines, maybe trillions of lines of code. What product on earth exists with that? I just don't even.
I mean, a billion lines of code. A billion's a lot bigger than you think.
It's enormous. It's enormous.
I think that you won't find any open source projects claiming this.
No, of course not.
Because nobody wants you to actually look at what the hell.
Of course not, dude.
Slop.
Nobody
wants you to look at that code. That's another Jedi mind trick. You don't need to see the code. You don't need to see the code.
Yeah. Don't worry about
revenue?
it.
Nope. Code?
Nope.
Let me just show you the bill. Let me just show you. Look at what we ate.
Which AI made. I don't know what to believe. I really don't. And I don't know how that became like a measurement of ego, of success, of investable opportunity. I just don't see it. Like, why share that? To me, that would be such an oh fuck moment. That would be like, yo, nobody's eating this month. The agent ate your paycheck. So I
dude, can we name a climb after that? That's a great name for a rock climb. If I could get a first ascent, the agent ate your paycheck. I kind of want, that would be a sick name for a rock climb.
That's the name of this episode. The agent ate your paycheck.
But it's really
ate your paycheck. Concerning. It truly is alarming. It doesn't feel human. It doesn't feel responsible. It doesn't even feel like there's mission behind that. Like, what's the fucking point? What is the point? How many jobs did you create with that? Like, it just doesn't make sense. How much money were you able to donate to charity with that? Like, how many mouths were you able to feed? How many milestones were you able to achieve? None. The agent ate your paycheck, and nobody even got rich from it. Like, it doesn't even fucking matter.
Nobody got, I don't know. I don't know what the why that people are getting into entrepreneurship now is really weird for me. I think that one of the cooler things though about doing more with less, and I want to call out Jeff Bruskin who commented on my post. He said, let's do more with more. And I think that what would be really cool is if we had more smaller companies, right? Like fewer and higher quality, like the last kind of, I want to say 20 years has been this consolidation around these mega SaaS platforms. And I think you might get this spread where I don't think that you're going to get is every company making their own little bespoke solution. But instead of like everybody needing to use Salesforce, it becomes like a, hey, there's a CRM for oil and gas, there's a CRM for land, there's a CRM for this, there's sort of like a diaspora of, if you will, of smaller software companies that build a great feature set, maintain a great product. You have engineers that maybe spend a good amount of time there. This is one thing that us millennials kind of screwed up, which is like company hopping versus like staying at the same place. Maybe you spend 20 years. Instead of getting equity, a matching from K is a freaking incredible thing. And you can work, you build, you let my people go surfing. Like I said, I mean, the Patagonia philosophy really rings true to me. The 37 Signals guys, they seem to have that. People stay there a long time. There's really not this goal of selling the company, but ideally you'll work there until you're old and do meaningful work there, and you can retire. So like, while I cannot not looking to feed 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 engineers, 10,000 engineers, I'm looking to build a kind of a high quality, a smaller company that has a high quality team that can spend a good amount of time here. And I think we might get a bunch of smaller companies and business owners and new entrepreneurs with that as the goal. But you have to keep that humanity in mind. You have to keep the humanity in mind. You have to remember why we do this. First and foremost, it's not to feed the beast, not to feed the machine.
Well, you know what's one thing I can absolutely tell you is, like, whatever is happening in the world, however everybody wants to conduct their business, that's on you. But I know for you and me and what we try to build in this world, there are very finite, very measurable, very valuable things that you can measure. And so, dude, thanks for a great topic. Thanks for a great episode. And I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Peace.